What's up everybody, I'm Derek, this is Rocking eForge, and today I'm going to be forging this split cross out of a railroad spike because I wanted something a little nice to hang on the wall. So, let's get rocking. Alright, so I've got myself a railroad spike, and while the forge is heating up, there's some prep that we need to do to the spike in order to do a split cross with it. My plan is to cut down through the center of the head as close as I can get it, and then cut down through the center of the spike this direction. And there are some dimensions that need to be kind of met roughly in order to get the split cross correct. And when I say there's specific measurements, I'm not saying that there is a right way to do a split cross. You can split your stock however you want. It's just a matter of there are certain directions that need to be followed in order to get the actual split. My plan is to use the head of the railroad spike, split down the middle, and spread open to become the two arms of the cross. And in a typical Latin style cross, which is what I'm going for, the arms are always shorter, almost always half the length of the main vertical upright support that comes below them. In order to accomplish that, I'm going to cut about a third of the length of the overall spike from the head down the center, and then I'm going to rotate the whole thing 90 degrees, and I'm going to cut the tip off in order to give myself a little bit easier purchase with the bandsaw blade. I'm going to cut 2/3 up the length on that axis, making sure that those two cuts overlap slightly because otherwise you won't get the split in the split cross. This should become more readily apparent later when we actually unfold everything and get everything kind of worked out, but that should kind of get the gist of what's going on here. All right, so I've got this cut, and this is about a 6.5 inch long railroad spike. I've got what's going to become the arms cut to about 2¼ inches from the head, and I've got this about 4.5 inches from the tip. Now you want overlap between these two to give you the classic diamond opening in the middle of the cross. You need about a 1/2 inch of overlap between the two in order to get that hole. Now you'll notice this cut was pretty wavy. We'll work that out with the hammer and with the grinder, but I just wanted to highlight that you do need this overlap between what is a vertical cut right here and a horizontal cut right here in order to actually split this out and get it to look the way you want it. Now I'm going to come and start this split in the post vise using a handheld chisel, but if you've got a hot cut Hardy that you can put in your anvil, that would also be a really useful way to spread these two pieces of steel. Now before I get too far into this split, I'm going to come split the other one. I just realized this would be a really cool way to make like a squid or something. Now before I get too far in this split, I'm going to come and start the split on the head, and then we will move back to the anvil to get everything worked out. And now I'm going to bring this to the edge of the anvil and just use the edge to spread one side apart. And we should, and that should do just fine to spread the other side as well. So we'll throw that back in the fire and get this thing flattened out. Now you want to be careful here not to forge too much on the center location once you start getting in contact with the anvil, because if you flatten out these kind of twists, it won't look as nice. It's also worth noting that if you get to this point and you've got these portions of the shank that are kind of curled up toward you, be very careful to make sure you flatten those out like this before you do any hammering on one side or the other, because if you hammer on a C shape on one side, it's going to pivot on the bottom and send the other very sharp edge of the other upright straight into your finger. Ask me how I know. Can't see the scar on camera, but I've got a nice scar right here because about a year ago, actually I might have that around, give me a second. I had it split out, but each of these was curved so that I had a bit of a banana shape, and I wanted to hammer down Well, I wanted to hammer down on one side in order to even that out instead of flipping it over like this and hammering down like that. I ended up hammering down on the far side instead of the near side and pivoted the whole thing right into my finger and ended up with a nice emergency room visit to get things glued up back together. So don't do that. Now, to support flattening things out a little bit better, you can use a stump and a wooden mallet, or I've got an old axe handle, in order to avoid messing up the twists in here. And you may be able to tell this arm of the cross is actually has a little curve toward me, and I'm going to see if I can work that out by just using that. I need some more heat probably, but I'm going to see if I can work that out using the axe handle and just hammer down on this area to try to straighten that out a little bit. So that I don't end up hammering on the head and messing that up. And yes, I'm driving this into the stump, but it seems to be making at least okay progress. And another way I can try to do this is just squeeze it in the post vise. And that worked out pretty well. And before we get too far into this, I'm going to go ahead and let this cool down and grind the surfaces that were cut just to get rid of the lines across the piece and to make the surface a little more smooth. Now that finishes up the bulk of the project, so to speak. You can do any number of things to make this a little more decorative, however you want. My plan is to make this a hanging wall decoration, so I'm actually going to come in and mark this so that I've got it about the same length as the arms, and then forge the rest of this into a scroll, which comes around and forms a loop to hang it on a nail or a thumbtack, or something of that nature. I'll look for the mark that I made. Set that on the near edge of the anvil. And just make it a little more apparent before I work on drawing a taper here. All right, so now that I've got this taper forged out, I'm going to knock down all these corners and then start working on the loop. I'm going to forge a pretty wide scroll here. And I'm going to quench the scroll and start working on the actual loop. And I want this to go over a bit, because I'd like this loop to be a little more round. And then we'll start slowly shaping this with a little bit of leftover heat. And I've forged this over so that the scroll appears in front of the vertical portion of the cross, really because I think it looks pretty. So next heat, I'm going to work on getting this a little more circular, and we should be pretty well close to done. Haven't done a very good job. Let me get the scrolling tongs out to fix this. All right, I like that. Now I've got to deal with wherever this black crusty gunk came from. I must have dropped it on something on the floor, so I may have to sand that off, but we'll try the wire brush first. Looks like I've got all of that black crusty stuff off. Oh, hold on. There's some down there on the tip. And while the cross is still hot, we're gonna take some beeswax. Might be a little too hot. Let it cool down just a touch, and then use some beeswax to kind of seal off the steel, darken it a little bit, and add a nice layer of protection against corrosion. Then I'll let this smoke off, and we'll be all finished up. Alrighty, and that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, or ring that notification bell. If you want to support me in the channel further, please consider becoming an honorary striker on my Patreon. That link is in the description below the video, or please consider becoming a member on my YouTube channel. And as always, keep on rocking.